Over the last couple of months, I've been putting together this triple monitor racing sim setup, and I can finally say that it's done. So I wanted to make this video to showcase, of course, the setup itself, but also the process it took to build this thing and get everything set up, as well as the budget, so that if you guys are looking to build a similar triple monitor setup for your racing rig, you can have a general idea on overall costs. So it all started a few months ago when we built our RTX 4070 Ti build. So comprising this build is an i5 12600K processor with 16 gigs of memory, and then this GALAX GeForce RTX 4070 Ti, all fitting in a small form factor NR200 build. So this build is nice and compact, perfect for a racing sim setup. So it's just sitting off to the side. It's not really the focal point of the build. The focal point is, of course, the sim racing rig itself. So this build is definitely not a cheap one with that RTX 4070 Ti from GALAX, which comes in at right around $800. So overall, this build came in at right around $1,800, but it is the perfect size for this sim racing rig, and it also looks really, really nice. It's kind of very subdued, even though you do have that nice RGB from the GALAX 4070 Ti. And if you are interested in picking up a card like this, I'll have it linked down in the description below. This thing performs awesome on these 27-inch 1440p triple monitor setup in a game like F1. But of course, we wanted to test everything out on a single display, so we tested out F1 on a single GALAX monitor, and overall this thing performed awesome. We're seeing crazy FPS numbers in the upper 200s, and everything was running super smooth inside of F1, running on all high settings. And this is the kind of base of our rig. So we have a Playseat Evolution Seat along with a Logitech G29 steering wheel. So the Playseat Evolution Act Fit seat came in at right around $350, and the Logitech G29 at $295. They're definitely not the most expensive things out on the market for racing sim setups, but overall they're very nice. And we need a table in order to mount our triple monitor setup too, and I didn't want to go out and just buy a random table that wasn't going to fit the build perfectly. So I decided I'm going to custom make the perfect table that will fit right alongside the Playseat Evolution setup and kind of hug and really fit nicely, mesh really well with this build. And overall, it came out great. I still need to do some finishing touches to it, get it painted, get it primed, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But this triple monitor setup looks great when you're sitting in the seat. Now, in order to get the three displays to act as one giant 7680 by 1440p display, I needed to do some customization. So these aren't all the same monitor. I have two GALAX and one Pixio, and they're not reading the same resolution / frame rates in the settings within NVIDIA to set up the surround configuration. So I set up 3 custom profiles on all the displays at 2560 by 1440 at 155 hertz, and that then enabled us to set up the 7680 by 1440p resolution and 155 hertz refresh rate inside of the NVIDIA surround configurator. So once that was set up, now we are able to game in that full triple screen surround display setup. And this is the build. This is the final setup. It looks really good. We have our 2 GALAX Vivant 01 monitors and a single Pixio 27-inch PX27 Prime monitor. And we're putting it all on a Playseat little mat there just so that it all ties the build together. But overall, like, the table that we were able to build fits this thing perfectly. It butts right up against the G29 steering wheel and also fits right alongside the edges of the Playseat Evolution base, which allows this thing to be super sturdy, even though it is holding up these triple 27-inch monitors. The cable management I was able to do looks pretty good. I will say I could have done maybe a couple things differently, but it looks very tidy and very nice. And overall, the G29 setup, again, it may not be the most expensive racing setup, but it still does cost quite a bit of money at $300, but it is a very nice experience. Good force feedback on the steering wheel, good pedal control as well, and you can always customize those as well in order to get a better feel. The Playseat ActiFit finish on this Playseat seat, it's also really nice and comfortable for long gaming sessions. It feels almost like a mix between a faux leather and I don't really know what exactly the material feels like, but it's easy to slide in and out of. It also holds you in the seat when you are kind of moving around. So overall, no complaints when it comes to this Playseat Evolution Seat. And at $350, there definitely really shouldn't be too many complaints with it either. And overall, on the triple monitor display, benchmarking this thing, we were looking at 135 FPS. So maybe not hitting the 155, but overall, this thing is a blast and a dream to game on. This setup may not be as immersive as, let's say, I don't know, a VR headset, but it is extremely cool to have the triple monitor setup with the F1 game in your peripherals. Like, just having the peripheral field of view in order to see kind of the sides and be able to look to your left and actually look in the mirror of the car is pretty cool. So I definitely do like the triple monitor setup kind of over a VR headset, because even though VR definitely is the most immersive experience you're going to get, it's not always the most comfortable thing to wear for extended gaming sessions. And overall, I mean, I don't know, I just really like the look and the setup that you get with these triple 27s. And as you can see, the game experience, super clean. The FPS numbers on this are extremely good, and we're playing at all high settings, so the game also looks great with HDR on and everything turned up. Overall, there might be a little bit of a bounce to the monitors when turning super hard and you get the force feedback on the G29 steering wheel, but overall, I don't really notice it that much. The only thing I might do in the future is add an actual physical connection between the table that I was able to build and the Playseat base, just so it's fully connected and tied together. Doesn't allow it to move around at all, and hopefully those monitors stay a little bit more secure. But overall, when it comes to the final budget, we were looking at $350 for the Playseat Evolution, another $300 for the Logitech G29 steering wheel, around $1,800 for the actual PC build, and then each one of the monitors came in at right around $250. So total of $750 for the monitor setup and right around $100 for the triple monitor stand. So all in budget for this thing came in at right around $3,250. So racing sim setups are definitely not cheap, and this one is maybe a little bit of an exception from the overall standard you might see out there with some of the major setups out on the market, some of the really advanced setups out on the market. Whereas a seat and the rig itself might cost $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 if you're getting a seat with force feedback as well. Steering wheels and pedals and shifters can go up to thousands of dollars as well, depending on what you're really buying and what you're looking for. The monitors are relatively cheap compared to other 27-inch. I mean, you could ball out and get triple 27 4K monitors with a 4090 driving everything, and you're looking, you could look up to $10,000-$20,000 for a racing sim setup. So $3,000 in the grand scheme of racing sims isn't super expensive, but it is definitely not a cheap investment. But overall, if you guys are interested in any of this setup, or if you have any questions for this setup, definitely leave those down below. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, get subscribed to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.